Have you ever bought a tool and figured that, you know, you'll probably never use it? Don't ever say never. So I measure from the nut to the 12th fret to kind of figure out where this bridge is supposed to be at. And kind of give it a little eyeball here to kind of get this thing where close to where it's supposed to be. I think that's pretty damn close, and then tune it up and check the intonation, and should be pretty much close. Then I can kind of see if this thing works. Alright, so what I got here is the Epiphone Joe Pass Emperor 2, and I'm kind of going over a few things with it, and got basically the strings are in tune. It's intonated where the bridge is at right now. I do, however, I think what I'm going to do is just get another bridge, or I might have to retrim this one out. I have to look at some videos on how to do that to refurbish this. This is kind of like, it's a little goofy because the string placement is like there's two places for it here, and I'm not too sure if that is common or if that's supposed to be or what, but it looks like this string was sitting there, and it looks like it's supposed to be here. This one looks like it was sitting there and it's supposed to be over here. I don't know. It is intonated right now. I did check it with the tuner, and it is in tune. So I'm kind of going over a little bit here and there. I kind of see that getting some of this shit off this plating might sacrifice the plating. I'm hoping not, so we'll see about that. I did find a little bit of some cracking going on over here, which basically there's the neck, the binding, and the body, and right where the binding and the neck meet, there is a crack here. Now this is two pieces of wood right here, which I was actually kind of surprised. I looked at the other side, it's the same way, but not with the stress crack. So I'm thinking that it's basically maybe one of those cracks that you get from expansion and contraction. I did some prying on it. I know some of you guys might cringe your teeth, but just to do a test, I grabbed the neck, grabbed the body, pushed down on the neck to see if I could see anything open with basically I had one of those fucking eyepieces on there, so if I see any gaps opening up over here, I know something's going on with the neck. There is no cracking going on with the two pieces of binding here, you know, the plastic here, and then the binding that goes around the body. The one thing that I did notice with this is that it looks like someone did a pop, and this is loose, so I have to be careful. Someone probably popped the input jack in there, and or output jack in there, and did some cracking over here around this hole, or someone drilled a hole, did something over here and didn't watch what they were doing and pushed too hard and cracked the finish over there. So I'm going to see if I could take some lacquer and maybe melt that, or see what I can do, or maybe say take some thinner, lacquer thinner, and see if I can melt. I know there's a chemical to get rid of those cracks, and I want to see if I can do so. This side here of the neck, like I said, this is a separate piece of wood from what the neck is over here, and there's nothing going on over here. There's no cracking other than being kind of nasty. There's no cracking going on over here. Everything looks good. Other than that, this body, it just seems to be everything seems to be pretty solid so far. And this is all new territory for me. I've never worked on a hollow body before. I've worked on semi-hollow bodies, but not a completely hollow body. And I got the light on over here, and it looks like it's showing white. I was like, wait a minute, did they paint the inside over here? But no, I don't think so. So this is all new grounds for me, and you know, hopefully it won't be a bad situation. I know this thing is filthy as fuck, and I can actually feel whatever's on this on my fingers, so I'm going to have to wash my hands when I go upstairs. Got to pick up some gold screws. Unless I already have some, then I can replace the ones that are missing. I want to make sure that when I start going over a lot of this over here, I'm going to be very, very careful I don't lose the plating that is on here. So I don't know how thick the plating is. The pickups are pretty nasty themselves. This thing was probably a very well used guitar when whoever had it. I could tell by the pick guard that there are a lot of scratches and it's pretty scuffed. Yeah, this was somebody's baby that was used a lot, and you know, now I'm going to recondition it a little bit and maybe replace the wiring with the new wiring that I already have. If this thing needs some pot cleaning on it, then I'm going to be pulling out the electronics anyways. I do want to take out the pickups and stick my camera inside the hole and kind of take a look around to see if there's any loose bracing or loose, you know, anything that might be loose. I might have to add a little bit of glue to and lock it down. But otherwise, I don't hear any vibrations coming from the body as far as, you know, something being loose and the body resonating and vibrating and what Randy would call, you know, the power of the guitar. I don't hear anything vibrating or anything loose inside of there, so I'm thinking that everything is pretty much secure and I don't really have to worry about too much of anything on the inside. But I want to check it anyways. Again, this is new grounds for me, and you know, I want to do it right. And if it means I'm going to have to go back and look at some YouTube videos about the bridge or you know, whatever about a hollow body, I will do so. You know, just to keep myself informed and you know, learn something new. It's not a bad thing, especially when it comes to something that you have. The fretboard is pretty fucking dirty. The frets are pretty dirty themselves. They're not in bad shape at all. I will go over some of these frets. I've got, like, this one over here is a little bit sharp. I'm going to go over and kind of fix that a little bit. The nut seems to be okay. I was turning the keys and the tuners, and it seemed like that everything was free-flowing through the nut with no problem. Action height at the nut, it seems to be pretty damn good, maybe a little bit too low. I'm not getting any buzzing. Action height on this thing is really, really fucking low. And I want to do a bunch of measuring before I start ripping this thing apart. Alright, so I got the truss rod cover off on this thing, and I was messing a little bit with the Ibanez. That thing sounds really good. Clean with a little bit of reverb on it. It's kind of nice. And I have got no relief at all in that neck. So that's pretty tight. And let's see where I fall with the gauge. So I'm sitting on the low side at a 3/64. Well, that would be nice action, wouldn't it? And I've got a little bit over 132s right now. So just changing the truss rod, let's kind of see where what that's going to give me. So right now, got my T inside the truss rod. Got my capo at the first fret, and let's add some relief to this thing. All right, so I just loosened the truss rod all the way, and I'm kind of loosening it up quite a bit. So let's see what, I'm getting some tension on it, see where I'm getting a little bit more, and I think I'll have it. I would call that pretty damn good. So with the truss rod loosened and then tightened the other way, let's see what my action height will be. roughly around 5/64. And, well, got myself at a 16th at the high side. So that's kind of where I would set it to. So I got myself a little bit of action there. And the action height at the first fret got a little bit better. So that's kind of good. So now I kind of wanted to take this thing apart. So I'm going to get the strings off of this thing. And I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Now remember, folks, you do not want to loosen any screws on the back of your tuners when removing strings. I have to say those are loose enough. Say goodbye to these old nasty strings. So what I should have done, and which I'm going to do right now, is check to see what these strings are. And I'm going to use my micrometer to do so. So go ahead and give me the high E. And they got 10s on this thing. Yeah. Somebody put 10s on this thing. No, I'll put 10s back on it. Why not? This puppy here, I gotta be careful with. I don't want to mark up or dent up the guitar with it. Oh, those look familiar. And get these fucking old strings off of here. Oh, somebody really wrapped these motherfuckers. You know, it's funny, when you see that strings are kind of like tied, you get pissed off when you see that they're tied. But when you do it yourself, you don't get that pissed off. These here, I don't know what the hell they did to tie these things on. It's like they wrapped them somehow. Like twisted them and wrapped them and then like not tied them, but they're in like a knot. Literally, in like a knot. Now usually I'll do that with, I'll kind of lock them in place at the peg head, but only on the high strings I'll do that. Seems like I did this on the low strings as well. I mean, look at that. Look at how tied that is. The way that looks. I mean, yeah, it doesn't need to be like that on the low side. The high side I can understand. Sometimes you have problems, but not on the low side. It just makes it difficult to try to untie these to pull them out. I mean, really difficult. I mean, this would have broke anyways, but check that one out. I got one more, and she's being a bear. There you go. I'm trying to do this without scratching the headstock. Man, there, I can throw these. Get rid of these old things. Throw them away. Alright, so the bridge. Oh, there's no pad or anything underneath there. It's just wood, huh? Usually I'd see a pad or something, but there's no mark of a pad. So there's the bridge, and it's got 2 notches on the high side, 2 notches right here. Well, 1 notch, one of them is just an indentation, and 2 notches on the low side. So I gotta check into this bridge and see if I can get another one. All right, so the back of this thing, I'm going to remove that because I don't want that to be flopping around as I'm working on the guitar. Wow, these are long ass screws. I think I'm going to have to get the heavy artillery in. So I still have the bit down here that I need. Yes, I do. Well, I can do this. This is a nice thing about this. Pop off and pop on. Simple as that. Pretty good sized screws on the tailpiece, no? And is there one more screw in here? Yep. Alright, so the tailpiece is now removed, and I will be giving this a good polishing. These adjustable, no, they just lock in there. This will be getting a nice polish. It's going to need it. It's going to need it badly. Keep all the screws together. Separate some parts here. Alright, now for this pick guard. Did they kind of like use some super long screws with that too? No, well, kind of. Looks like the same screw. Alright, so let's see. They got two screws on this side. They're kind of tiny little ones. Like I said, I gotta get myself one of those little guitar trays or something that I can put all this tools and stuff in. They have a nice little rubber piece that goes underneath the pick guard. Alright, so let's take a look at this pick guard. This pick guard reversible. You know what? This pick guard is not reversible. The binding kind of is thicker, and the binding is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 piece binding, and there is plastic behind here. There is no plastic on this side, is there? Unless, it'd be nice if somebody left the plastic on this, no? Yeah, I didn't think they did. But it's scarred up pretty good. It's pretty much scratched up, and this side here, it still has the plastic on. I'm not going to interrupt it too much. I think I'm going to leave the plastic on there. And again, some more polishing has to be done here, and some polishing has to be done here. Now this is probably just a sticker. Yeah, it's a sticker, so I got to be careful with that. All right, so that's that part there. Let's kind of see what's behind door number 1 over here as far as the pickups go. I'm pretty good at remembering what screws go where. When you work on electronics and have to take apart tape decks and receivers, and especially the old school ones where they had metal bodies to them and shit, and you had tons of screws, kind of get pretty good at remembering what goes where. All right, so what do we have here? We have, oh, it says Epiphone going across back over here, and this is as hollow as hollow can be. Yep, she is a hollow body. Oh, that was pretty easy. And what do we have here? Do we have braided? No, this is not braided wire. This can't be braided wire. No, I didn't think that was braided wire. And this is an Epiphone switch. Yep, it says Epiphone going across the top over there. So it is an Epiphone switch. And the switch probably is pretty good. I wouldn't say there's something wrong with it. But the nice thing about this is I could take all the fucking electronics off and go through one of these pickup holes instead of having to go through the F hole to do it. That's kind of nice. So let me go pop these knobs. Oh, that was easy. I'm going to end up doing a nice cleaning on these anyways because I know they're going to be filthy as fuck. Alright, that one's not coming off as easy, so I will get my little... You can do two ways of this. I kind of like using the wire tie. You can use a rag or you know, something other than it's almost like someone glued that fucker on. There is a prying tool, but I don't like using that. I got an itch around my neck. So let's go ahead and try to pull this thing off. Yeah, this thing feels like someone glued it on. There you go. Yeah, it might have been just a little bit tight over there. Who knows? No glue residue. And these are also loose to where I can turn them with my hand. Alright, here's the fun part. Watch this. So I could pick a pickup to drop in. I think I'll drop this one in. And I'll pull this pickup out along with everything else that's in here. And then I've got the switch, and then I've got the other pickup. Look at that. Pretty nice. Now I'm left with loose washers in here. Any more in here? Oh, there's a couple more. Let's see here. Come on. Oh, we're going to play this game now, huh? Tell you, I'm going to win. Told you. Now we have a hollow body. A real, true hollow body. You can tell the resonant frequency by humming inside of the cavity to see basically kind of what's going to sound like. And just looking in here, she looks pretty good. So that's going to come off, or is that going to stay on? It's probably going to stay on. Let's go inside, maybe, if the phone fits. Today, we are going where no one has gone before. Well, the braces, I thought there would be more in here than just that, but they don't look like... Hello! They don't look like they're in bad shape. I'll get this video on the computer to really check them out. So that's towards the ass end of the guitar. And she looks alright. So let's take a look at towards the neck portion of this. Alright, sir, we're going in again. Like I said, she looks pretty good. There's the neck right there. It doesn't look like there's any problems with glue or cracking or anything going on over there. Everything looks like it's pretty solid. I can kind of see through the F-hole too as I'm looking at this since I'm lighting it up. So I'm seeing what you guys are seeing. Alright, we're out. Alright, so I have to say that the inside of this is not in bad shape. And I don't hear any vibration other than what's coming up from the headstock because of the tuners. And you can kind of see right here, I can basically put the bridge right where it was. The bridge was like right here. There's a light spot right here. But I used my bridge locator and kind of told me otherwise. It's a little bit crooked here, so I don't know if that was correct where this has been sitting all these years or what. But there is some discoloration. You can kind of see where it's lighter and then the rest of it's darker, which is fine. I don't care. That comes with age, that comes with use, that comes with time. So I'm going to see what this neck is as far as being straight goes now that I have the strings off of it. Also want to check out the frets as far as what they're doing. Alright, so basically I'm going to bring you guys down. You can see what I'm seeing and how I'm seeing it as far as what I'm talking about with the flashlight and everything else. Checking to see how straight the neck is after the string's off. If it needs to be straightened out, I will straighten out even more, because I'm going to maybe, well, I will, if it needs fret work done, I'm going to end up doing a fret leveling stuff. So let's bring it down here and kind of see what I'm seeing. Alright, so this is what I'm looking at right now. And what I'm checking for is basically between the fret and the straight, not straight edge. I want to see if there's any type of a light coming through, like right here. And it's a little hard to do this when you have the square inlays, because the square inlays kind of will show you, it'll light up where the square inlays are. So I'm kind of like seeing pretty much a little bit of light coming through in the center. And that's probably because I had to add the relief. So I'm going to go ahead and close that gap up and then check to see how level the actual frets are. Alright, so another way to do this too, I knocked you down, oh no. Another way to do this too is to grab like either a 4 or a 2000s shim. Let's see here, 6, 5, here's a 2000s. I think I'm going to grab the 4000 shim. There you are. Another way to do this too is to kind of like hold this up a little bit and see, I'm pushing on it, pushing on it, pushing on it. It's starting to go under a little bit. Starting to go under a little bit. Really went under, going under, going under, pushing, 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 pushing. It's another way of doing it to see if your neck is completely flat as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to straighten out this neck more, which means turning the truss rod a little bit, checking to see if I have any rocking going on over here, which I do. So I'm going to add a little bit. Add a little bit more. And then I'm going to take my flashlight, do the same thing as I did before. And I do not see no light coming through where I have it right now. So that's telling me this puppy's pretty flat. Alright, when I was talking about how the frets looked, I really don't feel any bumpiness or craters or dimples in the fret, but this is kind of misleading when you start seeing the marks from the strings in the fret itself. It kind of looks like that, kind of looks like there's bumps and stuff in the fret, but there really isn't. The fun part. That's good. A little bit rock, a little bit rock. That's good. A little bit of rock. That's pretty good. A little bit of rock. Pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. A little bit of rock in the middle. A little bit of rock. Pretty good. A little bit of rock. Good. 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 Yep, not right there is not that good. So there's a mixture of a little bit of rockiness in some spots and no rockiness in other spots, which, you know what, probably to be expected. And it doesn't feel like it's really, really, really bad, but I am going to kind of give it a light leveling, nothing really too heavy. Just something that, since I already have to do some prep work on the ends anyways, especially like right over here, I will do a level job on this thing and clean the fretboard really nice. First thing I want to do is to get rid of all electronics over here. And let's see here. So I have 3 lock washers here that were on the inside of the guitar. But I have 4 pots, so I'm missing lock washer. So there's a wire tie inside of here, kind of like the wire tie you would see on a piece of bread. Oh, here is a ground wire that was not connected to anything, or what? Was this ground wire connected to anything? That was probably connected to the bridge on the back over here. Yep, okay, I see it. On the back over here, this is where the ground wire was connected, so I thought so. And what they use. Alright, so here are your pickups. They've got them tied up over here, so the green and white and the red and white are tied. What a shitty way of doing things. Man, I swear, this is like a shitty way of doing things here. Yeah, I'm going to rewire this. I don't like the way this has been done. I mean, I get the heat shrink tubing that they did over here to try to keep the wires all consistent with each other and shit like that, but they should have stuck all the wiring together the way it should be done. This is kind of like a little bit of a mess, and I'm seeing some shitty soldering going on over here. So it's got some orange caps on here for your tones. Yeah, it's kind of shitty the way you did this. Not that big of a deal. 3-way switch, still good. Not bad at all. I mean, it's, a lot of times on a 3-way switch, you can kind of notice that some wear when you see that the edge over here is starting to round off on that white piece of plastic or nylon that's inside there. You'll start seeing some wear. And then it'll also give you a problem where it'll snap back by itself. Yeah. And on some guitars, when these side springs here are really tight, now I call them springs because that's actually kind of what they're acting like, even though they're breaking the connection between one and making connection on the other side. They're acting like a spring. Sometimes those are really, really tight. And when you flip it real fast, you can actually hear it throughout the guitar. It'll pick it up on the pickups. It'll actually make a noise kind of like the springs on a Floyd Rose, you know, resonates through the body of the guitar and stuff like that. You can kind of hear the same thing. I did have a question about that on one of my videos, and I told the guy, I says, if it snaps and it's making noises through the guitar, what you can do is kind of get a jeweler's screwdriver and kind of like pull it a little bit, make sure it still makes its connection. And then when you lift it up like that, it's not as hard, but still stays in place. And when you let it go, it still makes this connection the way it's supposed to. So pretty good, pretty cool. And it's not bad. And the solder's a little bit dry. Yeah, well, it comes with age, you know. Just like the rest of us, we get old, we dry up. We shrivel up into nothing. So what I want to do is I want to get rid of all this here. I'm going to start working on electronics and rewiring that shit. Get that thing done. So that'll probably be another video, since this is kind of getting a little bit too long. And that's it, folks. The teardown is started. I'm going to remove the tuners, clean the headstock really, really well on this thing. Look for some more gold screws. I'm sure I have them someplace around here. And probably start cleaning up this body. I don't think, unless I start finding scratches on this finish after I polish it up the first time, I don't think I'll be doing like a buffing job on it, but I am going to hit it with a rubbing compound. I am going to hit it with the microfiber cloths. I am going to go through the 3 different stages of polishing with the microfiber cloths and get this puppy back up to its nice sparkling shininess that it was when it was new. So stay tuned for that with that if you want to watch. Cool. Thanks for sticking with me. Catch you guys later.
And only a true rocker would have hair as greasy and nasty as yours.